Hey Browns fans, it's time to gear up for a pain-free 2022 NFL season for your Cleveland Browns with new friends of the show, Buckeye Law Group. If you've been injured in a car accident, a slip and fall, a work accident, or even if you've been buried into the ground by Myles Garrett or stiff-armed by Nick Chubb, you need to call Buckeye Law Group today at 1-800-411-PAIN. Their attorneys will fight for the money you deserve. Buckeye Law Group's attorneys have recovered over $1 billion for their clients throughout the entire country. So don't make the mistake of calling just any other attorney. Call attorneys you can trust, and best of all, they're Browns fans just like you. Call our friends from Buckeye Law Group at 1-800-411-PAIN. After 911, call 411. That's 1-800-411-PAIN. 1-800-411-7246. That's Buckeye Law Group, located at 1300 East 9th Street, Suite 1210 in Cleveland, Ohio. Buckeye Law Group, proud fans of the Cleveland Browns just like you.
Hey, this is D'Anthony, safety with the Cleveland Browns, and you listen to the Dawgs podcast. Go Dawgs.
Welcome to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs. If you want to get your intro into the show, become a Cleveland Browns player. No, I'm just kidding.
We're only accepting Browns players' intros now. So.
Yeah. Head to thedawgspodcast.com. Tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. Today, we finally have a game to preview. Super pumped about that. Football is finally here. We got a game on Thursday. Before we get into that, though, I got to remind you to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure to tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page. We got 4 fantasy leagues starting up this week in there. We had drafts that spanned the globe last weekend, so it's been a ton of fun in there. If you're looking to meet Browns fans from all over the world, jump into there. It's been a ton of fun. We didn't do Music Monday. I still haven't done Music Tuesday. Maybe we'll do Music Wednesday this week. It's been a rough week. I missed an episode last week because I was sick. My kid is still sick. It's been a very rough 2 weeks. So I'm happy to be back in the studio with you guys because you guys put out a very underwhelming episode.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just joking.
Thank you.
I'm just
The
messing
YouTube
around.
algorithm seems to think so.
Yeah, I'm just messing around. We want to give a big thank you to Brown safety D'Anthony Bell again, not only for the intro, but for taking the time out this past weekend, doing an interview with us. Again, his second interview for the show. If you guys missed that, make sure you guys go check it out. Super awesome guy. Brown safety talked to us for about 20 minutes on Saturday and just super humble. And I think he's going to do big things for the Browns. So if you didn't get a chance, go check out that interview.
Can we just throw out there now, unless you guys were going to talk about it later, D'Anthony Bell is number 2 on the free safety
we
depth
can
chart?
just start off with that.
Cool.
I saw that. I was kind of shocked. I told my wife, I said, hey, D'Anthony Bell's 2.
Ahead of Richard LeCount out of Georgia, draft pick for the Browns last year.
Yeah, he's not 5. They don't have him listed as the gunner on kickoff.
Right.
You know, he's listed as the second. So if John Johnson's got to get a spell, according to the unofficial depth chart, next guy in's D'Anthony Bell.
Which is awesome, because you even told him last week in the interview, you said, I think you're playing on Sundays, man, like defense, not just special teams.
Yeah, and you know, he said his mentality was he just wants to come out, make plays on special teams, and make a name for himself. I think he's going to make a name for himself playing defense.
I do too. I really do.
I mean, the guy, he's just always around the ball. Somebody on YouTube, you know, joked, does he just watch film 24/7 because he's always around the ball? It seems that way. He said no, but it seems that way because he's just always around the ball. And, I mean, he's around the ball, good things happen. Look how many turnovers he's forced between the games and camp.
His football IQ is impressive. He talked about knowing everybody's position on defense and where everybody's supposed to be at a given situation, which is, I think, pretty impressive. Yeah,
and we talked to him about who he's been picking the brain. He's been picking the brain of John Johnson, who's a pretty darn good safety in this league.
That's a good one to pick.
Yep. So we're super pumped for that guy. And again, if you haven't had a chance, go check out that interview. I think you guys will enjoy it. So Browns made a little bit of news this week in a player acquisition, signing tight end Jesse James and offensive tackle Joe Haeg. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't know much about either one of these guys. I do know that Jesse James is a pretty serviceable tight end, though, just from what I could gather. So I think that's a good signing for the Browns. They needed a third one. The third guy on the roster was a rookie who'd never played before. And to be honest, our starting 2 tight ends, Njoku's I mean, he's decently proven. He's been in the league now for a few years, but Harrison Bryant's largely unproven in this league. So we were rolling out there with David Njoku and a prayer.
I think the big thing that you touched on is that, and I mean, in both these situations, these guys are going to be third string, backup guys. It's not like we're going to have to rely heavily on them. So, I mean, this is just depth. This is just if, God forbid, something does happen and a guy goes down, next man up. But I'm fine with it. And like you said, Jesse James hasn't been awful. His PFF grades are kind of, let's just say, average.
Which is what you want out of your
average
your
to
third
below
string tight end.
average. Right. I wasn't expecting to see, 90s and 80s all over the place. I mean, he wouldn't be not on a roster if
That was the case?
Yeah, correct.
I do think I think we'll see more 3 tight end sets early in the year than maybe we will see late in the year when
agree.
Deshaun comes back. So, I mean, Jesse James, we might see him on the field. I'm not going to say he's getting 90% of the snaps on offense, but we might see him more than we're anticipating, at least in the first 11 games.
So just kind of looking back, he spent 4 years with Pittsburgh, 2 with Detroit, and then last year with Chicago. Not counting his rookie season and last year, he's played every single game of every season. Last year he missed 2. No big deal there. I mean, his career high, 423 yards in a season. Career high is 43 receptions, 3 touchdowns, but that's what you get out of your
So we had
2
a
or
depth
3 tight end.
and
Yeah.
a little bit of reliability.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're not making any.
I think, if anything would happen to Brian or he needs a spell, I think James can slide into the 2 spot if we need him to, for a couple plays, for a couple series, maybe a game here or there, whatever.
Yep.
What about Joe Haig? Anybody know anything about him?
Hell no.
He plays
Played for the
football.
He
Steelers.
plays football.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him except for he plays offensive line. So I apologize for that. And the research crew didn't get back to me on time about, his career.
Yeah, we'll be talking to them.
Yeah, so we'll have to get on them a little bit. As we're officially now into the regular season. It's game week. Are the Browns not going to sign a receiver?
Doesn't look like it. It sure doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they're going to sign one.
I think we're making a move at receiver, just maybe not yet. But by the time.
Don't you think it's like crap or get off the pot time?
I'm not a general manager.
One thing that I did
I'm a
read,
fan.
going into this week is that Michael Woods is back from his injury. I mean, maybe there's more hope out of the front office and the coaches for Michael Woods than
We were
giving
hearing
them
real
credit
good things
for.
about him.
Yeah, and we saw up at camp he looked good.
He
I
did.
mean, he looked the part.
Andy was playing well.
Good looking young man, Blake. We get it. We get it.
No, I'm a little bit surprised though that we didn't go get at least some kind of veteran receiver that's played meaningful snaps in the NFL. I mean, outside of Amari Cooper and I guess DPJ, man, it is. We do not have a good receiver room.
I really wanted to go get a veteran depth piece.
And being honest, I'm not 100% sold on DPJ. He had flashes last year, and it was in a year where the quarterback play was atrocious. Slay me down, Browns fans, if you disagree with me. But I think there's still some question marks with him. So I mean, I think you're looking to get a lot out of Amari Cooper, and I think there's just a lot of question marks in general. There, Anthony Schwartz hasn't been
Good.
stellar, good, dependable.
Worth it?
I'm trying to figure out the words that I want to use there. So yeah,
Okay, so
we shall see.
Did you see the 6 receivers listed on the depth chart? So we've got Amari Cooper, Anthony Schwartz. You've got Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Bell, Michael Woods, and Demetric Felton.
Yeah,
I mean,
Listed
Demetric
as a
Felton's-
wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a freaking running back. I know they got him listed at receiver, but he's a running back. It's just we're thin there, man. And if God forbid, knock on wood, third play of the game, Amari Cooper twists his ankle. I mean, you might be kissing the season goodbye.
Nick
early.
Chubb's touch count's going way up. So is Kareem Hunt's. I thought they were already going to be pretty high to begin with, but
It's
We're
rough.
waiting until week 12 to have a quarterback that we're really expecting to elevate our receivers game. So
Correct. This receiving core with Deshaun Watson still is not great, but you're going we got Deshaun Watson. He can elevate these guys. He's going to make these guys better, play better than what they really are.
Yep.
You're not getting that for the first 11 games.
Right.
You're not getting that at all. And unless people like David Bell really step up, I mean, the offense could be very anemic for 11 games. I'm not going to lie.
And maybe we're really going to – maybe they're just banking hardcore on that run game for the first 11 games to get us through it.
I know we talked about the preseason last week when I wasn't here, but I was very underwhelmed by the Browns this preseason. There was not a lot that happened in these 3 preseason games to make me think we're ready to play a regular season football game in a couple days. I don't know about you guys.
I feel much better about our defense going into the first game.
Man, it got shredded by Justin Fields.
I know, but
That was not our defense.
I agree with you on that.
That was not our defense.
And I know somebody on YouTube was like, "Oh, well, look at all these stars that played." I'm like, they weren't playing like all the snaps. It wasn't.
But they played a lot. I mean,
It was to get the feet wet.
Key guys played. What was it? The third game. Who'd we play? Chicago. Yeah. The key guys played it for half. Justin Fields looked the best he's looked in a year and a half.
So that game, there was no Miles, no Clowney, no Denzel.
I get
Newsome, not there. I mean, those are important pieces about what we want to do and establish on defense. I think I'd like to see the complete project.
I get that. There is enough starters. Justin Fields shouldn't have looked like Joe Montana.
Yeah, I'm less worried about our defense going against Baker than I am our offense going against Carolina's defense.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And again, we're gonna get to the game preview, but I'm not really worried. I'm worried about anybody on Carolina. It's their running back, not their quarterback.
He's good,
right?
But no, they just the preseason left a lot to be desired offensively and defensively. And I get on defense too. We're playing vanilla base coverage. We're not blitzing a ton, that kind of stuff. But it just, I mean, we just completely murdered the Browns or the Bears in the regular season last year. They had like 50 yards of offense. Then Justin Fields come out, and I know those guys might not be starters, but we're depending on a lot of those guys to play a lot of snaps. And it just didn't go that well. So I'm hoping we've seen the Browns look great in the preseason and then not win a single game.
Correct.
And sometimes you see these teams who don't look good in the regulars or the preseason, and they come out and play really well in the regular season. So we're going to see which ones the Browns are.
Yeah.
Well, hey, shout out to the Ravens who were undefeated in the preseason last year and finished last in the division. So good for you guys.
They haven't lost a preseason game in how long now?
Did they 27 in a row or something stupid?
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Keep winning those games, guys.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. So like I mentioned in the opening, we finally have a game preview. Browns open the season, if you guys haven't heard, at Carolina against former QB1. Promises to be a good game. It'd be a lot better if Deshaun was playing. The hype would be pretty unreal. Mm-hmm. Baker's selling his off-the-leash T-shirts. I don't know if you guys touched on that last
whack,
week.
Bro.
No, we didn't talk about it.
He was off the leash last year.
Yeah,
He's been off the leash.
What I don't get and what I can't comprehend with people who are huge hardcore Baker fans is when they say things like the reason Baker wasn't good is the play calling or something. Does nobody remember 2019 when Baker played with a healthy Odell, a healthy Jarvis Landry, a healthy Nick Chubb, and he was god-awful? Mm-hmm. I mean, what else do we – it's like people just forget that season happened.
It's Freddie's fault.
Yeah, it was Freddie's fault. Well, okay, he might suck, but if you were that good, you would at least be adequate. I mean, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league that year.
We saw him. I know everybody will say, hey, he was injured, but we saw him try to air it out last year multiple times. Multiple times there was opportunities where he could have led a game-winning drive, and he had the opportunity to throw the ball around. And I just distinctly remember it ending the same way, either by sack or by interception. So,
yeah.
The leash is off. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm just
can't wait.
That shirt, I saw that shirt and I was just even Joe Thomas called him out on Twitter. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, it's a corny shirt.
Like he seems super focused for week 1. It's just like, bro, what are you putting T-shirts out for? Like, just go play football.
Yeah, I know you don't see a whole lot of other quarterbacks doing that kind of stuff, and I mean, Myles Garrett's coming after you.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, this defense is reportedly like they didn't love you last year. And now you're going to play in week 1. You're going to build bulletin board material. Thank God somebody else's problem.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Browns fans, we're going to take a quick break from the action, talk to you guys about DraftKings. The first Sunday of the NFL season is here. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the return of the NFL season. And your Cleveland Browns, of course. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on an NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team ends up losing. So pick the Browns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday. That's code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Now back to the action.
So we came up with some keys for the offense and keys for the defense. We'll start with the offense. We got here, need to win on third down. I think we were terrible last year on third down on offense. Especially, I think you said, if it's third and manageable, we got to convert. We got to sustain some drives, get the offense into a rhythm. I think that was a huge problem you saw in the preseason. We did not convert on third down in the preseason. Mm-hmm. I mean, Deshaun got to play like 8 plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And left it long. And it was always drops and long attempts at third down. If it's 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 7, your percentage is going way down. The chances of getting the first down are not good.
The thing is, with our run game, we should not be in 3rd and long unless we're getting stupid penalties, holdings, and things like that. But like with the run game, we should be always, if it's third down, it should be 3rd and 5 and less, I would think.
You would think. So I guess we put need to win on third down, which I guess that translates to you got to win on first down. Yeah. I would like to see. I know we got to run the ball. We want to run the ball heavy, but I would like to see some early down throws to keep the playbook wide open. If they know you're just going to come out and try to run it on 1st and 2nd down every time they load the box up, that's why you start living in 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s every time. I'm not saying come out and throw it on 1st down every single time, but the further you get in your downs, the harder it becomes to throw.
Right.
1st and 10's your easiest down to throw on because the playbook's wide open. 3rd and 10, it's probably a pass. It's either a pass or it's a draw.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'd like to see some early down throws to keep us in 3rd and manageable. And then if we're living in 3rd and manageable, then we got to convert. Sustain some long drives, keep the Carolina's offense on the field, keep Christian McCaffrey off the field, okay, and keep the defense fresh and win time of possession. I think, if we come out of this game and we have the ball for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, obviously that's pretty stellar. Right. It's only a 60-minute game. You know what I mean? But if we lose the time of possession, unless we're just banging on some big plays, which I don't see happening, it probably didn't go well for us. I just want to be 1-0.
Yeah.
Please. For the first time in my life, I just want to be 1-0. What about you, John? Anything about that you want to add?
No, I think you pretty much got it. We can't come out and be 3rd and 7 all the time. So let's mix it up. Let's be unpredictable.
I agree. I don't think the offense the first 11 weeks is going to be overly explosive. So I don't think we can live in 3rd and 10s, which this plays into that then. No pre-snap penalties. I don't think we looked buttoned up in the preseason in terms of penalties. We kind of had a lot of them every game. Nothing kills me more than pre-snap. You're going to get holds. You're going to get stuff like that. But the things you can control, pre-snap penalties like jumping off sides, illegal motions, illegal formation, delay of games, we can't have that. The offense is not going to be nearly explosive enough to be starting downs 1st and 20, 1st and 15. You can't. It's not going to happen.
I agree.
Yep.
So I also got on here, win the line of scrimmage, run the ball well. I think everybody in America knows we got 2 really good running backs. 4 actually.
4 for sure. Yeah.
So we got to run the ball. We got to run the ball well. I think everybody keeps talking about Jacoby Brissett needs to be 6 and 5. A huge factor in that is going to be if this offensive line comes out and plays well. Mm-hmm. Because if the offensive line comes out and plays well and allows us to run the ball, establish a heavy run game, and then we can live and play action and stuff like that, 6 and 5 is a lot more manageable. If we're asking Jacoby Brissett to throw 40 times a game, it's probably not looking good.
No.
I want to see especially out of that center position. After Nick Harris went down, I want to see, Postage. That's how you say his name.
Yep.
I want to see him, hold his own, and I don't want to see guys mulling him over and getting into the backfield.
So he's not my worry. I don't know about
Conklin.
No, that's not my worry.
No, Wills. Conklin might not even
So
play.
you guys are worried about the tackles, huh?
Wills is. I'm not Conklin, and as long as he's healthy enough, he'll play fine.
Yeah.
To me, Jedrick Wills is the biggest question mark on the Browns' offensive line. Because I'm not concerned about Posick because Nick Harris was a question mark. Posick started 45 plus games in his career. The guy can play football.
That's a fair point.
Jedrick Wills, first of all, he had a rough preseason.
Yeah,
he had a rough camp. He got pulled from drills. He was getting pulled from game. He did not play that well in this preseason, in this camp. And that's a guy that we were banking on when we drafted him to be our left tackle for the next decade. And I think this is kind of a make or break year for him. So that's who I'm watching on the offensive line. If he struggles, that's not good.
That's interesting. Not a bad take though.
So, then we just sat here and talked about how the offense isn't going to be explosive, but I do think when they're there, we got to hit the chunk plays.
One thing that I think could be interesting, you have a very fresh Amari Cooper who probably is going to line up across J.C. Horn, who I like J.C. Horn a lot,
He's
especially
a young
young guy coming out of college. I think there's an opportunity to see how good he really is. And he's very good, but if you're Amari Cooper, I think you have to be kind of salivating at the idea that you're going to line up across basically a rookie.
And you've seen Amari Cooper make, wily veteran quarterbacks look kind of dumb with his route running. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've watched some videos. It's just him cooking people one-on-one.
Yep.
Like they cannot guard him. His route running is just insane.
It's elite.
Which could be a big reason why the offense didn't look that great in the preseason. You play 3 games without your number 1 receiver or really your number 2 receiver. You're probably not going to look overly explosive. But I do think there's going to be...
Anthony Schwartz is putting the ball in the ground every play.
No. Do you think he gets a lot of run?
Schwartz?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a lot. I think that if Cooper and DPJ, I think Bell's going to get a lot of run.
Yeah. I'd like to see those 3.
I think that Schwartz, if they're smart, they're going to try to limit the amount of times he's touching them or potentially touching the ball.
I think a lot of things are going to depend on how we look in the first half. We get up big, maybe.
Call me crazy. I think he's going to play a ton. I don't think
sucks.
They don't. I just think that he didn't make the team. There's something they like about him.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? There's something they like about him. You can't teach his speed. Apparently, you can't teach him to catch either. But I don't know. I have this sick feeling in my stomach that he's going to play a decent amount of snaps.
Do you happen to have a feeling that he's going to be good?
Yeah. How do you think it's going to go?
No, I do not think he's going to be good. I don't know. Maybe he'll recapture a little bit of like his week 1 magic last year, where that was his best game as a pro. It wasn't even that great. He just showed glimpses of his potential, and then that was it. We never saw it again. I'm still waiting to see it again.
I'd like to see Cooper and Brissett just get some sort of rhythm where defenses have to game plan for Cooper, not just Chubb.
Yeah.
I think
don't put 9 guys in the box.
Right.
Just have to deal with it.
If you're worried about both of those, like the pass and the run, then, that opens up the playbook right there. Like, we got a lot more options. So
I agree. I do think there's going to be 4 to 5 times a game for the Browns to hit a chunk play, 30, 25-yard plus pass, something like that. And we saw last year we rarely hit on them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Outside of the Chiefs and the Chargers game, we rarely hit on those chunk plays. I think the offense is going to be limited to a point these first 11 games. If you have a chance to hit a big play, you got to connect. If the guy's wide open, just put it out there and let him catch it. Don't throw it 8 feet behind him, please.
Right.
Or sail it over his head by 15 feet to a DB. So when the opportunity presents itself, we have to execute on those chunk plays to keep drives going, because it's the NFL. It's hard to go 10 play drives all game. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to hit even if you're not going to be the Chiefs or the Bills. you're still going to have to hit a few chunk plays every game, and you have to execute on those, or else it's going to be a long game for the offense. And then the last thing I put here for a key for the offense, I put make kicks. I think that's a huge. I think especially in these first 11 games, kicking game could be crucial.
Yeah, I think it's a big weakness. We've talked about it too. Last year, how many times was it 4th and 6, and it was if you have Justin Tucker or pretty much any other kicker in the league.
Felipe Bravo.
Yeah.
Anybody who's not a Dover kid won't know that reference.
You could just run the kicker out there and, pretty much get 3 points. And we saw a lot of turnover on downs and just bad broken up plays, a lot of just very gimmicky plays. I don't think we see that this year. I think if the opportunity is there, I'm not saying if it's a 70-yard kick, they're running them out there. But I think if it's, let's say 60, I think that they're comfortable. They're going to give this kid a shot. I mean, they took him early for this reason.
He's shown out during the preseason camp and everything that he can make these kicks.
He's got a leg. He did miss 2 kicks at home. I was going to ask you that. Do you think this changes Stefanski's mindset in terms of if we get down, does he take the points more often this year?
As long as he's making the kicks. If he gets this, trend of missing and being like it's like a 50-50 shot, if he's going to make this kick, I think you see Stefanski go back to what he's doing last year and the gimmicky stuff. And
yeah,
because what are you supposed to do? If you want to get points and you can't really rely on that kicker.
I think with the offense this year with Brissett, I love going for it. I'm an aggressive person in terms of like play calling. I'd rather be aggressive. But man, if you take the points if you can this year, because let your top 5 defense go win you the game.
Yeah, and I think with the defense hopefully starting off the season the way they ended it last year. Last year we had to wait. We had to wait a handful of games till that defense really started to click and gel.
A handful, like 7 or 8.
Yeah, okay, you're right, half the season. So if they can kind of get it going here in week 1 and show that, hey, we can hold these offenses and go ahead and take the 3 points when you get them.
We saw a few games last year where, in the moment you want to go for it because you're down or something. But then when the game's over, you're like, oh, if we just kick 2 field goals, once in the second and once in the fourth, we would have won that game by a point,
Yep. I agree.
Especially like on that. How many times last year was it the first drive? We go down the field, we get in field goal range, and it'd be 3rd down. We wouldn't pick it up, and then they'd go out and try to get it on 4th down. It's like, I get it's the first drive and you want to strike, but take the 3 and, hey, you got points.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. It's been a long week. I had something to say, and then I completely forgot. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think you got to take the points this year. Let your defense play at least for 11 games, and after if Deshaun comes back, you want to start getting crazy. Then we'll see how it goes. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. I think last year, I remember what I was going to say now. Last year it was very rough too when we were going for it on 4th down, not getting it, because I don't know if you guys realized it, but every time we went for it on 4th down, something crappy happened on our play.
Yeah,
it'd be like a bad snap. Or they'd blitz 6 guys and we didn't see it coming and we'd have to just hurry up and chuck it out of bounds or take a sack. I feel like Stefanski's first year, we still went for it on 4th down, but we just got it a lot. We executed a lot better. Last year, our execution on 4th down was nobody questions whether you should go for it if you get it a majority of the time. But if every time it's 4th down, you get sacked, okay, then you're going to start getting second guessed.
Yeah.
And that was mind-boggling last year. It's like, this is 4th down. You would think in practice, you're practicing like 2-point conversions, critical 3rd down situations, 4th down situation. And it seemed like we'd never practiced it before ever. Like, I guess we will go for it on 4th down. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, like you just looked to the back of the book and said, eh.
Yeah, it was rough.
Hey, Browns fans, let's take a quick break to talk about the most important part of the NFL season, that pregame meal. Whether you got your grill at the tailgate or in the backyard, you want to make sure you're serving the best meats to the crazy fans around you. And if you want the best, you have to get the best. Omaha Steaks. You've heard us talking about Omaha Steaks for a while now because they are without a doubt the best steaks we've ever had. And it's not just the steaks. All the food from Omaha Steaks is top of the line delicious, juicy, and best of all, you can get a great discount with our promo code. Just go to omahasteaks.com and enter DAWGS, DAWGS, into the search bar. You'll get a special price on the All-American assortment, and as a tasty bonus, you'll also get 12 ultra-juicy Omaha Steak burgers for free. The All-American assortment includes 16 mouth-watering entrees with 4 famously fork-tender, double-trim butcher's cut filet mignons, 4 pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts. Wow, is anyone else getting hungry? Plus so much more. No one, and I mean no one, comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and the value of Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com and type keyword DAWGS into the search bar. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword DAWGS. With Omaha Steaks, the Browns fans of your watch party will know you're the alpha dog. Now back to the show. Oh.
So that's what we came up with for the offense. Now we'll go to the defense. This was actually... one of the offense I said, win the line of scrimmage, don't let CMC run wild, eliminate the play action. The most dangerous player for the Panthers is not their quarterback, just like the Browns for, 11 games. It's their running back. I think Nick Chubb's the best pure runner of the football in the league, but Christian McCaffrey is definitely the best dual threat running back in the league.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the best dual threat running backs ever.
Period. Yeah.
He's a matchup nightmare, not only out of the backfield, but out of the slot. He's tough for linebackers to cover. Like guys like JOK, they got their work cut out for him. Trying to cover this guy out of the backfield. You can't let him run wild. He's gonna get his, especially in catches. Hopefully, my fantasy team. I'm just joking. But he's gonna get his in that regard. But you can't let this dude just be breaking off 6, 7, 8, and then a 20-yard run. You got to bottle him up because Baker's if they can start living in play action, that's when Baker starts getting dangerous.
Yeah.
If they can't run the ball and Baker's doing straight drop back, okay, well, we've seen that story.
Yeah.
We've seen how that one goes. So bottle up Christian McCaffrey, tackle him. Do not let him just run wild. We can, if Christian McCaffrey runs for 150, we lost this game probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And the thing with Baker Mayfield to remember too is Baker can put together some really nice games in the NFL. He has.
Yep.
And there's a very real chance he puts together a good game. That's the thing with Baker, you just never know when it's going to happen. He's not like some of these other quarterbacks, like Daniel Jones, you can pretty much chalk it up. He's going to suck every game, but there are games that Baker, he'll go out there and throw 350 and 3 or 4 touchdowns. It's like, wow. But
the problem was then the next week he played against the Packers.
Right.
Or the Lions.
3 picks and 113 yards, yeah.
So for my second key for the defense, I put pressure Baker Mayfield, keep him in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I'm telling my defensive line, if you're not going to get there on a pass play, get your hands up. Baker Mayfield leads the nation in getting balls batted down at the line. And those are drive killers. I mean, it happened to us so many times.
So annoying, man.
He'd get the ball batted down, and he's just like, again? You know what I mean? I mean, it happened all the time. So, Clowney's tall as crap.
Yeah, he's
Myles
huge.
Garrett, isn't little, obviously. So if you're not going to get there, get your hands up because he already struggles to play from the pocket because he's, 5'11". If you get your hands, Clowney puts his hands up, it's, he's at 8 feet, 9 feet. Well, Baker can't throw over that, and I don't think he doesn't throw around it. You see some of these quarterbacks like Mahomes or Matthew Stafford or throwing like underhand. That's not Baker's game. He's got, basically his one release. Mm-hmm. Keep him in the pocket. I said disguise coverage, pre-snap and post-snap. Make him think. If Baker's not trusting his eyes, he holds the ball forever.
Yeah, if we can make him pump fake,
yep,
even
pump
just
fake.
one pump fake,
Pump fake.
Now your odds of having a pick just go up immensely.
Yep. Make him think, make him not trust his eyes. Show man, dropped a zone, show zone, dropped a man, all that kind of stuff. And I would blitz the crap out of him.
Yep.
He's not a mobile quarterback, so he's not going to be, Lamar Jacksoning this thing.
No, and if I'm Clowney, I'm saying Clowney. I'm telling Jadeveon, this guy, once he even senses the tiniest bit of pressure, is going to sprint to his right, which is right at you. If you just contain rush wide, you will get 38 sacks this game. Because he will run right into you. We saw so many times like he creates his own pressure. There'd be nobody around him, and you just take off and run, and all. You're like, wait, what the hell? How did he just get sacked? There was no pressure. Clowney could get his 10 sacks for the year in this game if he just contain rushes and Baker will run right into him.
You've got me so excited to watch this game now.
I'm joking about that being facetious, but not 100%. I mean, we just watched it happen all the time. Get him thinking. He will double clutch, and then once he starts double clutching and thinking, his fundamentals go out the window. And then he's throwing off his back foot. It's sailing. He's throwing high over the middle. You get a pick. I mean, I still have nightmares about these. Is
there a bigger insult that you can throw a quarterback's way? Once he starts thinking he sucks.
It's true though, man. It's true. I think Baker's at his best when it's just, one read, quick, get rid of the ball, on the move, that kind of thing. If he's got to play from the pocket and he thinks one thing but something else happens, it doesn't.
And God forbid if a receiver comes wide open over the middle or anywhere on the field, really, he's not going to throw it to him.
No. At least you wouldn't think so. Unless
he wakes up feeling dangerous.
That's true. That's true.
If they do win, I am looking forward to his press conference where he drops rap lyrics or something funny.
I'm not looking forward to
that. So the big thing that we've heard, I think, from some people, which is just absolutely ridiculous, is that he's got this great skill group of guys there in Carolina. CMC is awesome.
Correct.
DJ Moore, I think, is an underrated receiver because he's never really had great quarterbacks, but yet he always puts up 1,000 yards.
I like DJ Moore a lot.
So he's a good receiver, but other than him, who's really running routes out there for them? I mean,
Robbie Anderson. All I keep hearing about is Robbie Anderson. I'm like, Robbie. Is it Robbie or Robbie?
Robbie. Okay. He just changed how you spell his name. That's all.
I'm like,
no big deal.
Guys, this guy is not that good.
He's never been good. Like he does one thing. He runs down the field fast. Yep. He runs straight. Other than that, he's not really that great of a receiver. He never was for the Jets. He still hasn't been for the Panthers. And after that, what do they have? They have Shi Smith, Harris Marshall, Chenault now. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you could see Chenault play some of that slot role too, and maybe take some.
No, I agree with what you're saying because they have so many weapons. Man, he hasn't had a team like this with all these weapons around. Well, what was last year with the Browns? What was the year before with the Browns? What was the year before that with the Browns? All this guy's had is great explosive offensive weapons and one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. This offensive line that he's playing with is not good. So I don't understand where all of a sudden he turns into, this gunslinger.
No, and like the weapons thing, everybody, we like DJ Moore. He's not a top 25 receiver. I just looked at the top 20. Tell me who you would put in his place here. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
You don't have to start from the top.
Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Hunter Renfrow, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Godwin, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Michael Pittman Jr., D-Hop, Jalen Waddle, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, Devontae Smith, Darnell Mooney, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is according to PFF.
I'd take him over Mooney for sure. I just think that DJ Moore's a great athlete. I just don't think he's had the best quarterback. It's not like any of those guys are slouches at receiver. But
you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying.
But who's the next
guy
for them?
Baker played with a healthy Odell his first year in Cleveland and a younger, healthy Jarvis Landry. I mean, in 2019, the Browns' offense was loaded.
And Odell was obviously healthy last year.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, don't tell me about how great is Robbie Anderson isn't a top 80 wide receiver.
No.
Maybe he's top 80, but he's nowhere near the top 40. And so don't tell me about his weapons. He's got one great running back, one pretty good receiver, and a crap offensive line.
There's no tight ends to talk about there. He doesn't have Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Harrison Bryant. I mean, he had weapons in Cleveland. And we had weapons in Cleveland.
That's something I argue with about people on Twitter. They tell me about I'll be like, Baker's situation in Cleveland wasn't that bad. And they're like, he came in for a team that didn't win a game. But Baker never played on an 0-16 roster.
No.
From Baker's rookie year, the Browns were significantly better talent-wise right from the get. John Dorsey started infusing talent onto this roster as soon as he got here.
They got Jarvis Landry in his prime.
Yeah.
Like when he was at the pinnacle of his, playmaking.
Yep. So he never played on an 0-16 team. Deshaun Kaiser did. And he was
part of the reason. Yeah. Big reason why.
But you know what I mean? So and then the teams only continued to get better. And so don't tell me about how this is the first time he's had talent to play around. Give me a break.
Off the leash.
Yeah. And I'm still not convinced Matt Rule's a good coach.
No, this is it for him.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think this is
he doesn't even make it through the season maybe if they start out, 2-6 or something. I mean, they might just cut bait and throw an interim in there and
I don't know if they'll do it in the middle of the season, but we'll see.
You see some of these teams do that, though, because they want to start their search and kind of get their feelers out there early.
That's true. The last thing I put in here, I said tackle well in the open field, eliminate the big play. Don't give these guys life. Just if they make a catch, a 7-yard catch, keep it to 7 yards. Come up, wrap up, make a tackle. Don't let – Baker's very much a momentum guy. If the crowd starts getting into it, they're starting to move the ball, that's when he starts to play at his best. Just take that out of him. If he's going to throw for 7 yards, okay, fine, it's a 7-yard, make the tackle, play the next down. Don't come flying up, miss the tackle, and then the dude just ran for 30 yards. We saw that in the Buckeyes game a couple plays. You know what I mean? And it almost cost them. And then Notre Dame fans, we told you.
Yeah.
Missed tackles and penalties are like two of my least favorite things.
Yes, this is the NFL. We got rid of Mac Wilson for a reason.
Right. Well, that's the thing, too. Like this, they have put together a defense of guys that tackle well. So
Newsom, Delpit, JOK, Walker,
Emerson,
tackling machine.
See these guys. So if they start coming out there and you see some missed tackles, it's going to be very disappointing because they're not known for that.
Correct. Then the last thing I put on here for special teams, I just put catch the effing punt snap. I think it was week 1 last year that
man,
cost
that
us
game
the
we should have won.
Yep. So just you always hear that football is a 3-phase game and that all 3 phases are just as important, and you never think about special teams until they cost you, and they've cost the Browns heavy in our lifetime. So we already said make your kicks. But don't give up a punt return. Don't give up a stupid kick return. Don't kick it out of bounds.
Don't get penalized for blocking the back.
Yeah, let's not start drives inside our own 5 because we block in the back on every punt return. Yeah. Let's just have solid special teams, please. This is a prove-it year for Mike Preifert because he's supposed to be a great special teams guy, and since he's been here, we've never had great special teams.
Mm-hmm. He did win a playoff game as a head coach.
Yeah. So against a team that was just reeling.
I'm interested to see how the return game looks.
Yeah. Who's going to return? Is it Felton? Is he returning punts?
But
we'll see.
Yeah.
That's why I'm interested. I just want to see. First of all, I want to see who is it going to be? How will they do?
Sure as hell don't want Swartz back there catching it.
Well, he wouldn't be catching them.
That's right.
You'd have to give him a net.
Jesus. Very critical.
Oh, man.
Can you just use that on offense too, please?
I feel bad for the guy, too, because there were interviews with him talking about how last year, he was dealing with mental issues just because of how negative everybody was about him.
Because he injured Baker.
Yeah, and then it hasn't gotten any better.
Well, okay, to be fair, Baker injured himself. That was a stupid move. You don't go out there and throw your shoulder. You're throwing shoulder into a guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
And Schwartz, if you're really that upset,
right, yeah.
Dude, none of us are good enough to be in the NFL, so don't be too sad, buddy.
Speak for yourself. I could squirt water in those guys' mouths.
But the thing is, he broke off that route, and you're still seeing him do that in the preseason, which is like, dude, it's been a year.
Yeah, these guys can throw.
How have you not progressed at all? But enough of Schwartz.
Yeah, we've harped on that enough. We're trying to be nicer here on the Dawgs podcast.
Oh, you guys didn't tell me that.
Yeah. So those are the keys to the game. You guys got anything else you want to add, or is that pretty much it?
Do you guys have any worries about interior defensive play?
It's
saying Elliott and Brian. That's going to be the guys. Very, very unproven.
What's a worse unit right now, the wide receiver room or the interior defensive line?
I think the interior defensive line, honestly.
I would agree, too. Without any injuries to that wide receiver room. Once we get one injury there, then it's them.
Yeah.
That does now. McCaffrey isn't as much of a between the guards type of runner. He's going to be more off tackle, so maybe that helps us a little bit. But these are still NFL coaches. They know if we're weak there, they're going to run it there.
Yep.
You got to get good linebacker play. Then you got to help a little. Something's got to help there. Somebody's got to step up and plug the middle. It's going to suck if this season doesn't go the way we want it to because teams just run the ball for 5 yards of carry between the guards every play. And
We've seen that show before.
Go like a high school offense on us, and they just turn around, hand it off up the middle every time. Nothing we can do about it because we just get bullied. Especially because interior D-line has been an issue that we've all thought was an issue for a year now, and the team did nothing. They added a 7th-round draft pick or whatever. Or Taven Bryan, was he a 7th round or 1st round, or what was he?
I thought he was a first, bro.
Okay. So
I thought he was a first rounder for Jacksonville.
Okay. So hopefully, I mean, they got cheap on us, though. They went cheap there, for sure.
Yep. Drafted Perion.
Yep. Man, talk about a little bit of a disappointment so far.
Getting bullied a little bit.
Yeah. That is, people were wondering how he fell that far, and it's starting to become like, oh, okay, this is why. So
yeah, Taven Bryan was a 1st-round pick in 2018.
So hopefully Winfrey can get it going. But, yeah, the interior line, that, and then how we tackle on defense. Those are my biggest things. I just don't let CMC. I'll sacrifice week 1 in fantasy if we can just tackle the guy.
And the thing that I keep thinking
without
about,
hurting him.
right. So I
don't care if we hurt him.
Yeah.
talking about, getting, gouged up the middle. It just reminds me that Patriots game last year.
Yeah.
Where, Mac Jones was a quarterback. He's a rookie quarterback. He didn't beat us, but he also didn't lose the game.
No, and they ran the ball so well that Mac Jones looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I would hate for that to be the way this game goes. So, we cannot get down. I don't think this offense right now with Brissett is built to come back, especially if we get down kind of big, quick.
You remember 2 years ago, I think, we played the Raiders in Cleveland, and Josh Jacobs just
I think about James
us.
Robinson.
Yeah.
James Robinson, the Jacksonville game, Robinson just kept hitting us for 6, 7, 8 yards every play.
Yep. And we don't put an emphasis on middle linebacker. And then our interior defensive line is sus. It's like, that's not a good combination. If one of those is going to be a little weak, then maybe the other one should be, not quite as weak. So, I mean, up the middle, it's until you get to safety, it's not very deep. Now, I think our linebackers are good sideline to sideline in space. But in terms of just stopping the run up the middle, if a team sees you can't stop the run up the middle, they're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then that opens up their entire playbook because then you got to start putting people in the box. You got to start run blitzing. And then all of a sudden you got one-on-one on the outside.
And you guys know who CMC's backup is there?
Who is it now?
Is it? Is
it the bus?
Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard?
Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
And you remember last year when he filled in for Derrick Henry in Tennessee, he just – big body dude right up the middle, chunking off yards. So I would just hate for them to be like, let's put him in there and just move CMC out to the slot or whatever, and just now we don't know what to do.
No. And I just don't want to lose this game because I don't want to.
Oh, that would suck.
I don't want to hear Baker, and then I
don't want to hear Browns fans talking about how happy they are that the Carolina Panthers won. If
you're
saying that, you're
it.
not a Browns fan. Real talk. You're not a Browns fan. I'm so tired of that. Oh, man, I know I'm a diehard Browns fan, but definitely cheering for Baker and the Panthers this week. Get the hell out of here.
Same people that are like, I've been a Browns fan for 40 years, and I'm done with them. You weren't a Browns fan for 40 years.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You were probably like a closet Steelers fan. Just shut up.
It's fair.
And that all being said, though, I do think we win this game. I think it's handled. I think our defense and our run game just
I agree. I think Nick Chubb has a really nice game. I think we control the clock. If we don't have a bunch of penalties, I think it's very obtainable.
I felt really confident about this game for an entire summer until I watched us play 3 preseason games, and we were very anemic. And then I'm like, okay, now what Browns team are we about to get?
True.
So I guess week 1 is my favorite week, because it means football season's here, but it's also my least favorite week in terms of you just don't know what you're going to get out of some of these teams.
True, but think about it too. If the Browns had come out and played like lights out in the preseason, we'd have been sitting here going, well, that was just the preseason. Now I'm kind of,
I think, here's the thing. If you look good in the preseason, you shouldn't put too much stock in it. But, man, if you look awful, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. You're supposed to look good. Defenses are playing vanilla. Not a ton of starters are playing. You're supposed to look good.
Yeah.
It's a dress rehearsal. So you can't put too much stock in it if you're playing well. But if you come out and you look awful and you got a million penalties, then, that's something that you could be a little worried about.
The penalties definitely worry. As far as the offense goes, Brissett only played that one half.
And he wasn't
in the third
awful.
game. He wasn't awful. And Watson played. He was rusty for a couple of drives. And other than that, it was basically Josh Rosen and Josh Dobbs for the preseason, and really no receivers. I mean, all the receivers that play in the preseason aren't even on the team anymore. They're on the practice squad. So I think week one's going to look a whole lot different, both sides of the ball.
I do too. Completely agree.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think, how you think the Browns are going to do. Do you think we win? Do you think we lose? Do you think it's close? What are some of the keys of the game? Let us know in the comments. We appreciate you guys listening.
Hey, you guys have any prediction for the game?
I thought we just all said we were going to win.
Scores?
All right.
I think we have 100 and they have 0.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that. that.
I'm gonna say we win by like 14. So I'll say 28-14.
Okay.
John, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I'll say 27-21.
Oh, 31-21.
I'm going to go a little lower and be like 23-13.
Okay.
All right. Let us know what you guys think. Who's going to win the game? And I know there's going to be so many haters just being like, Browns brown if we lose this game. That's all I'm going to hear is, you guys got rid of Baker and he beat you, blah, blah. So just please, for the love of God, be 1-0. Please, just be 1-0 for the first time in my life, please.
I think they haven't won a season opener since like 2004.
It's 2004.
Is it 2004?
Yep. So
it's outrageous.
Yeah.
No better time.
We tied one, though.
That's true. That's fair. Way to be optimistic, John.
Yeah. Don't tie either. Just go win the game.
Yeah.
Again, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Who's going to win the game? Who you looking forward to watch this week? What you want to see out of the team? Thank you guys for listening. Again, if you haven't had a chance to watch our interview with Anthony Bell, make sure you guys go check that out. He will be playing this Sunday for the Browns.
He'll be on the field.
He'll be on the field. I think you're going to see him on the special teams, and I think there's a good chance you're going to see him in the defensive secondary. So go check that out. I think you guys will enjoy it. We appreciate you guys watching all off season. The regular season is finally here. We're pumped to talk real games with you guys for the next 4 months. We appreciate you sticking it through the off season with us. To all you Dog Pack members, we'll see you guys on the after hours, and everybody else, see you guys hopefully for a victory Monday.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast, and become an official Dog Pack member and join thedawgs.com.